Hi, everyone. Welcome to our very first episode of TRENDMAKER Home Styles. That's real homes, that's real style, and real inspiration. This is our new YouTube channel, and we're going to be sharing with you 2026 home designs. And today it's layout, layout, layout. So rather than location, 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 which we always hear in real estate, this is all going to be about layout. I'm Wendy Richardson, and I've been in the business for 18 years and love what I do. And being a newly accredited trend maker person makes me feel even more smart because now I get to do a little bit more expansion. It's not just real estate, it is how we live. And it really is thinking about us as consumers from the beginning, from first impressions, all the way to our final decisions. And they're for style for us and for our families. And this is...
Hey, I'm Aaron Elam. I'm also a realtor, and something as a new realtor, you get to go in all these homes. Some homes are, ho hum,
Yeah.
but some aren't. Some you walk in, you go, wow, this is a challenge, but maybe a fun challenge. Like these spaces are unique, and I love that. I love seeing homes that have their own style. So that's why we're here.
I love it. That's perfect. And we are in beautiful, beautiful Colby Farms. This is such a cool area. It's very eclectic. It's kind of so unique. There's really nothing like it. It's 38 acres master plan, and it's an urban farmhouse community. And people are like they're walking their dogs. I drove up and I went, why does everyone just look so happy here? And it really is. You can tell us. And I want to introduce my dear friend. This is Sarah, and Sarah has allowed us to enter and invade her home. We've been friends for years, so thank you so much for being a part of this.
You're welcome. Thank you for asking me. I was super surprised when you did, but very happy to share our home and how we decorated it. And
she was the first person that I thought of, and she goes, I think I'm an imposter. I have the imposter syndrome. I went, heck no. This screams TRENDMAKER and it screams layout. So let's get started. Okay, Sarah, here we are in your beautiful space. And I remember the very first time we walked into this home, and we had chosen this home for a lot of different reasons, of which we're going to talk about more later. But when we walked into the space, I often wondered, what were you thinking about how your downsize could fit and how you could figure out the space?
Right. The first thing I noticed was that it was relatively small to do all the things I wanted to do, but that was not intimidating to me. We were excited and looking for something that was more of a cozy feel. And of course, it meant sacrificing some furniture and some family heirlooms. But I always carried my measuring tape with me. And I think I started measuring.
You did. She was a maniac. She's like lying on the floor. I'm like holding things. She's measuring for, I don't know, rugs and furniture. I don't know what she's doing. And you remeasured. It wasn't our first one measure, let's go. It was a few, because you really had a lot to think about. You had a lot of different types of furniture and a lot of different pieces. And what I loved is you put your thought into, how does my family fit? So let's talk about area by area for a minute, because it's quite amazing that you've created space within a space. So what was your process here?
Here, they had already defined it as the dining room because the chandelier was here. And it was suggested that my husband suggested
that's what happens.
the fixtures and turn this into a living room. But I was very hesitant to do that. So I loved the light. Wasn't sure I was going to keep it. Because I have so many mid-century things, but I also have things from the 1800s, as you can see. That are
you have such an eclectic, beautiful collection. Okay, Sarah, this was a space a lot of buyers really couldn't envision. And this was like to our advantage, quite honestly, because we love the home so much. But tell us, how did you go from that downstairs? I remember that huge sectional that you had and the creams, and you had different sort of colors. How did you figure this out?
Measuring.
Yes, we know measuring.
The first thing I did was I started with what size of rug I could fit here to anchor the spots. And because of the doors, it was limited to a 6x9. And then that drove the reasoning on what size of couch then I could fit with that would work in the space. And then, of course, making sure I could bring this gorgeous mid-century piece, and it fit perfectly.
I remember that measuring, and Sarah and I were like willing it to measure. Like we were willing it to be the right numbers. And when it was like a celebration.
It would have been a deal breaker.
Oh, if that doesn't fit, this is over. And it just kind of went with everything. The dark floors, like it just was a perfect spot. Tell us about this amazing sofa. This is just, it's beautiful.
Yes, I've always loved orange. When I first moved to Texas in 2005, I painted my dining room and kitchen like
Oh
a
yeah.
dark terracotta.
Terracotta.
People thought I was crazy, but like 2 years later, it ended up being like the color of the year for kitchens. So
Okay, so she's a real trend maker. She knows the colors of the
Yeah.
year back then. Yes.
Yes. And then when I was standing in here, I knew I was hanging on to my green velvet
Yeah,
armchairs.
we're going to go there next.
And
Love
I
it.
have the dark blue cabinets, or more of a gray blue. So I needed a color that would accentuate those,
Yes.
but not overpower them. And orange seemed to be the perfect bridge to both
Yeah.
of those colors. And as long as I kept clean lines, I figured I could go with
And it's a
a
muted.
wild color. Yeah.
It's not like a bright orange, and it looks luxurious. It
Yeah.
looks comfortable. Like
Mhm.
you've talked a lot. I hear you talk about cozy spaces.
Yes.
I can see this being your hangout,
Yes.
cozy spot with your blankets and
Yes.
just watching your shows. And
I love beauty, but I also want functionality. I want
Yeah.
everyone to feel like they can come in, kick off their shoes, and curl up.
I remember these chairs.
Mhm.
I've known Sarah for a long time. I've shared that. And she's always found a perfect spot for these chairs.
Mhm.
Why do you keep hanging on to these chairs? And how did you imagine designing so you've got more seating for entertaining?
Right. First of all, I've always loved the color, the emerald green,
Oh,
and then the velvet. I'm big into different textures. That's of a chenille. These are velvet. They're incredibly comfortable, and they are a design that goes across decades,
yeah.
that ties into mid-century antiques, modern day furniture beautifully.
And
So,
didn't you say when your parents come, like they kind of
yeah.
like they claim their space?
They do. I first tried to fit them with the couch, and it was
Right.
just way too much. And then just scooched them back over here.
Fitting
And
the chairs, not her parents. Let's make sure we're clear on
That's
that.
right.
So you were going to end the
Yeah.
like on either
I
side.
thought about making like a little circle of
Mhm,
seating,
mhm.
and the space just wasn't big enough, which ended up being wonderful because I love the definition of here's an area to sit, have coffee, talk,
Yeah.
read a book.